Welcome CSC 103 W1 and W2 sections for fall 2021. Just wanted to introduce myself in person, sort of through video, because you'll be hearing my voice all semester behind the screen in my YouTube videos, some of them new, some of them older, but just wanted to say hello and welcome you. I think we're going to have a fun semester. We're going to work on all kinds of areas of technology, going from Photoshop stuff, Illustrator stuff, raster vector, programming, web design, 3D, all kinds of stuff. So don't get too stressed out about it either, because sometimes it's only 1 week at a time. So by the time you're stressed out, we're moving on to something else. Sometimes that's good, sometimes it's not, because you wish you had more time to explore some of our areas, but that's good because it kind of piques your interest. But anyway, I just wanted to welcome you. I wanted to mention too about the Cengage text. We won't be using the mind tap exercises, so you don't have to dig your way through there and figure all that out. We'll just be using the book for reading to complement everything we do, so hopefully that'll make things easier. You'll be watching YouTube videos from a YouTube playlist that I created, and I have all the exercises created. You'll be following instructions that I have posted on MyWarren, and speaking of that, I'm going to show you now a little kind of walkthrough of MyWarren of where to find things. So anyway, welcome. Hope you have a good semester. All right, now that I'm in front of my computer, this feels a little more comfortable than standing in front of the camera talking to you. I'm going to give you a little walkthrough of MyWarren, even just from the logging in perspective. If you have any problems logging in, or you don't know what your password is or anything like that, you could find that on this page. By the way, you can also go down and do a course search if you need to know any information about the course before you get in, before you actually log in to see your courses. So I'm going to log in right now. And I'm going to go to my course, and I'm just going to go to the CSC 103. And you can see I teach a bunch of classes, so let me just remind you right now, when you email me, please indicate your course and your section, because I won't know just from your name what course you're in. Some people are in multiple classes. I teach multiple sections, so if you just say, hey, can you reopen that quiz? I won't know which one it is, so please always do that. It'll make things a lot easier for me to go through MyWarren and find things for you. So let me go to the CSC 103 W1, and I'm going to put it in student view right now. And I might have to go back to instructor view to see the assignments, because the assignments aren't open yet. But you're going to see some announcements here, and make sure that you read more when you see these, because there's always a lot of information here. And again, I wouldn't put all this information here if I didn't need it. I don't have time to be typing a bunch of stuff, but it's all important stuff. So make sure that you read this, since I'm not standing in front of you in a classroom. So make sure that you do this. So always do the read more. Don't think that it's just whatever you just saw. So those are the announcements, and typically I'll try to email you announcements when it relates to assignments and things like that, in addition to posting an announcement. But there's just a couple basic things up here before the semester starts. Technology needs. So if you don't have a computer, you don't have access to a computer or internet, things like that, there may be money from CARES to be able to do that. So check this out. Also, this I have to put on here, finding your way through e-learning, which is what I'm doing right now. So I don't think you have to check it out if you're watching this video. So I just want to point that out. But please read this announcement before you do anything, before we get the semester started. Now, just a couple things. Course information. I don't think I have this all set up yet, but there's a picture of me. I'll have office hours in there. But if you need to meet with me one-on-one with GoToMeeting or Zoom, I could do that anytime. So even if it has the office hours in here, you don't necessarily have to do that. Just email me and I can meet with you anytime. That's usually not a problem. Syllabus, I just want to point out on here that there's a section for syllabus, and there's the newest syllabus, which should be here. There's also information about the Cengage textbook. Now, we're just going to be using the textbook to read. We're not going to be using MindTap, so if you log into there and you start doing all these assignments and stuff, you don't have to do that. We're just going to use it for reading. I'll have your assignments. We'll be able to do all them with YouTube videos, so hopefully we don't have to do all that, because that gets a little bit confusing, and I like my assignments better, to be honest. And all these things are like PDFs, so this is just a PDF, so if you click on it in Chrome, it should just open up right in a browser tab, like most of the instructions that I'll put in here as well. So that's the syllabus. Discussion board, we're going to use that. If you're in the W1 course, you're going to have a discussion board where you're going to have to answer a discussion question. We're going to use the discussion board as attendance. They're not going to be really strict. You don't have to reply to people if you don't want to. I don't usually put a certain amount of characters or words or anything that you have to have in there, except for maybe a technology assignment at the end of the semester. But for most of the stuff, it's just to keep us interacting a little bit. We are going to do this, so make sure that you do your student introduction in the beginning. I have my instructor introduction here, but you're going to go into your student introductions here. And I don't think I can do it when I'm in student mode, if I add a post, I usually get an error when I go in here. Yeah, and I can't do it when I'm in student mode, but that's what you'll do. You'll add a post and you'll put in your student introduction, and I'll give you all kinds of instructions for that and examples and stuff like that. So I'll have videos for that. So I'm not going to do that now. Anyway, that's the discussion board, documents and resources. Just want to point out that there's two parts of this. There's handouts and there's bookmarks. Now, handouts are usually PDF files that if you click on them, they'll open up in a tab and you could print them out or whatever. So anything that would be like a handout in class would be under handouts. So they're PDF files, and anything under bookmarks are typically websites or videos or things like that. Now under Unit 1, I do have a couple required things here because for some reason, when I had them in a separate section, it put it after Unit 1, which was confusing. But these things here, the netiquette statement, finding your way through e-learning, which I'm doing right now, and the e-learning screenshot tutorial, if you're watching this video, you probably don't need to look at these things, but you could look at the netiquette statement because that may help you as far as your etiquette in terms of responding to people on discussion forums and communication and things like that. It's probably worth checking out. But for most of the assignments, what I'm going to do, here's one here, and keep in mind, some of these may be older yet because I didn't update all of them yet, so they may still have like fall 2020 on here, but typically what I'll do is I'll put instructions in here, and I'll even have a link to our playlist, and you'll click on the instructions, and those will be your instructions, your written instructions for the assignment, and you'll also have a video to go along with that. But notice this is for fall 2020, but this is what they'll look like, so they won't be a whole lot different. Like I said, I'm going to be using videos a lot from the fall 2020 because I took a lot of time to record them, so hopefully I could reuse them again or just make some edits to them. But you'll have instructions that you can look at in PDF format, and then you'll go here and then you'll go to the playlist, and I'll click on this. Now I didn't update the playlist yet, and it'll look something like this. Now, the intro video that I'm recording right now is going to be first. There'll be like 1 or 2 videos before this, and a lot of these from fall 2020 we'll use again. Now, I may have to go in and make some changes to them because there's some small changes in MyWarren and things like that, and I may mention something about fall 2020 that may be confusing for the spring, but most of these we should be able to use again. So I'm not going to take the time to record all of these over again because I have 3 other classes that I have to record new videos for, so we should be able to use a lot of these. So this will be our playlist. Now going back here, these are going to be set up by unit. So for each unit, we'll have a couple of assignments and you'll have links, and that's the way it'll work. Sometimes we'll have hands-on assignments. Sometimes we'll have assignments where you watch a narrated PowerPoint, and I usually have a PowerPoint that you can look at online somewhere so you don't have to download the PowerPoint file. There's also a narrated PowerPoint that I'll have in the playlist that'll be like a movie that you can kind of watch. And also under documents and resources, like I mentioned previously, is bookmarks, which are basically websites, videos, things like that. And again, you can change this to look like these little blocks like you see right now, or you could put them in list view, whatever works better for you. And if you go down, I have a section for web resources. You can see here's the playlist, and I have some links here to photos, to Google Photos, so it's easier to copy photos and work on them when we do some photo editing. And then any other resources we'll use in here that you have to link to, any websites and things like that. I even have an online PowerPoint for Unit 1, so when you click on here, you can see it's on a PowerPoint slide sharing site, so that way you don't have to download a PowerPoint file and open it up. So I try to do that and make things as accessible as possible. Attendance, there's nothing to do here for attendance, so you just have to remember to do your discussion questions. Course calendar, I don't really use. Coursework is going to be the main area where you're going to do your assignments throughout the 15 weeks of this semester. Now, if you go in here now, there shouldn't be anything there. There's no assignments in there, but if I go back to my instructor view, I have a bunch of assignments in here already, and for your first week, you'll have a student survey that you're going to do. There's a pre-test. There's a student introduction assignment. There's an email confirmation, which means I'm going to send you an email from MyWarren, and I want you to respond to me or reply to me so I know that I have the right email in MyWarren. So that's going to be an assignment that you'll get graded on. And then we'll get into some of our content, pixels, digital images. We'll be working with digital images and photo editing in our first unit. So those are some things we'll be doing the first week. And I think the weeks are set up like a unit, so we'll be doing all this the first week. It isn't a lot. It looks like a lot. It's not a lot. One of them's replying to an email. How long will that take? Okay, so that's what you're going to be doing throughout this semester. And as we do assignments, I'll go through these and explain these a little bit more. So once these are open, I'll go in and show you a little bit what you have to do. You know, how do you submit it? How do you access files if you have to? So don't worry about that now, but just know that these are where the assignments are set up. Now, this is from my end because they're not open yet. And I think that's pretty much it. One thing I just want to point out is I will send announcements and also send emails. So that's why I want to do an assignment where I actually check your emails. Other than that, I think we're okay with MyWarren. So if I missed anything, I'll add it to another video, but hopefully that should get you started as far as what you need to know for doing our class online this semester. So I look forward to getting started. If you have any questions, you can email me, and I'll send you more information as we get closer to the beginning of the semester, which actually is Wednesday, September 8th. So I just wanted to point that out. I'll talk to you soon.